History can be painted over, paved over, or torn down, but it can't be erased. The past has a way of breaking through the cracks, and the roots of a community run deep. Historically, North Pitt Street has been one of the 4 streets known as the Neighborhood in Carlisle's African American community. This area is where most Black residents lived until the early or mid-20th century. As you follow Pitt Street north towards the neighborhood, more buildings have disappeared, and the stories have gotten lost, but that doesn't have to continue. This is a neighborhood that people care about. In the 1990s, the Pitt Street Pride program repaired houses and painted homes on the first 2 blocks of North Pitt Street. This did increase the pride in the neighborhood and increased home ownership, but paint chips and paint fades, so continued investment is needed in this community. Carlisle is a town of great history, but there are certain details of our history that we are not proud of. Some decisions were thought to be made with the best of intentions, but those decisions have had lasting negative effects on this community. Buildings have been razed, as have cemetery headstones. Memorial Park, a green space adjacent to Hope Station, was once Lincoln Cemetery. In the 1970s, this cemetery became a park for the neighborhood. As headstones were not taken care of and began to deteriorate and fall over, Borough Council made a well-intentioned decision to remove them and place a few plaques around the newly named Memorial Park. 40 years later, this is not recognized as a sacred burial ground. The small plaques have been damaged, and passers-by have no large visuals telling them what the history of this land holds. But this is a strong community with deep roots, and this neighborhood should know about their history and be proud. In addition to homes, businesses, and churches, it houses the Historical Society, in which much of this history is stored. The goal of Park to Park, Making Connections, is to connect all of these pieces utilizing the arts.
Art defines a sense of place and the uniqueness of a space. This space has a unique history to be shared. Through art, we can make this space, this place, our place, a unique and wonderful place, a community, a vibrant, beautiful, and meaningful place that conveys a positive feeling of positive forward movement. And at the most basic and rawest emotion, a place you want to be. A place you want to be with your neighbor, a place you want to be with your community, and a place you want to call home.
My mom and I moved to Carlisle in 1978. I was a young man of 8 years old, and when she got our first apartment, it was over in the neighborhood on Lincoln Street, actually, in the public housing that was there. That's still there now. And went to church, went to school, played in the park, and just had that feeling of community living in the neighborhood. And it was always something that was always very special to me. And you really got that sense of community when I was growing up, at least. Well, again, it's gonna correct missteps of the past. It's gonna recognize the legacy that was there, and it's gonna hopefully help those residents realize they're part of the patchwork that is this community.